It's time for the Ravagers to rise once again to glory!
You are listening to The Ravager Report, a Fox Next Marvel Strike Force podcast dedicated to bringing you the latest news, information, and updates. With your hosts, Dorian.
It is a name what strikes fear into the hearts of anyone what hears it!
And Hebrew Hammer.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Ravager Report. I am Hebrew Hammer, and I am not joined by Dorian today because Dorian is out for personal reason, a crazy personal reason that he may or may not share with you guys whenever he comes back. I don't know. But it is interesting, trust me. Regardless, though, we do have someone filling in for him today. That is Muggin, the former co-host of this show. So, what's up, Muggin? How you doing?
What's up, dude? Thanks for allowing me to step in. Hope everything goes good with Dorian, and let's have some fun.
Yeah, definitely. It's good that you filled in because you were actually about to fill in on another podcast of mine a few days ago. So it's nice that you get to fill in for this one instead.
Yeah, man. Sorry about missing that other one.
It's okay. I'll just hate you forever silently. It's fine.
Look, I had my personal reasons that day, so you know.
All right. Well, either way, it's good to have you here. Let's go ahead and talk about. We're gonna go right into it and just do. There's no Rose Watch this week, so everyone. I don't know if you're mad or happy about that, but either way, that's what it is. So I feel like there's patrons right now that are leaving. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So, Muggin, how was your week in and out of the game?
Oh, man. All kinds of fun stuff in Muggin Watch 2019. Yeah, just all kinds of crazy stuff in my life. But the week before Friday, my baby girl turned 1, so that was awesome. And the week before that, my son turned 6, so it's been a kind of a crazy birthday couple of weeks there. And just kind of recovering from all that. And then in game, I've just been farming like a madman. All kinds of random stuff. I got shield security to tier 13, which was nice. So that gives me 3 out of 5, so I'm getting close. And for Fear the Darkness, and then I've got... I've been farming Sinister 6, been farming to get my next star on Magneto, and gonna miss Invisible Woman, and gonna miss, I think, even though I'm farming them, and I'm gonna miss Phoenix again, so that's fun.
Gonna miss both, huh?
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about Phoenix, honestly, but I probably should have, I guess.
Yeah, how can you not think about Phoenix? I'm assaulted by her every day in Arena, so I can't help but think about her.
Yeah, I got to get out of the 500s to deal with that, though. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that you were that low.
I never really focused on it when I came back. So my Technerva team is 240 power right now. So I'm still not really strong enough to stay up there, you know.
Yeah, not to mention, I guess you mean you were in beta. You were fairly early beta, right?
I'm in the first 3 arena shards. You know, Kraken is in it. Evan's in my shard, actually, one of our patrons. He's in there, and a couple of guys from Alternate Reality are in there. A couple guys from My Alliance are in there. The Kraken was in there, Seaton, all of those guys. Lots of Pants of Hulk, lots of those top tier Alliance guys are all in there, so it's it's a nightmare zone in that place.
Yeah, I was about to say, now it makes a lot more sense that you're in the 500s or so, because I know that you took a break for a little bit, but you came back a little while ago.
Yeah, I mean, there's still 300k teams down in the 500 400 range.
Exactly, yeah, because I mean, even though I took it easy for what was it, 2 months or so, I came back and I was easily still in the top 100-ish. But yeah, for you, it's monstrous to come back from that because you have all the heavy hitters in there. So that's terrible. But let's go ahead and move on to my part, I guess, which is my week. And nothing too crazy happened for me this week. just finished up setting up this IKEA thing for the closet. It took literally like 2 weeks to finalize it all. It was terrible. So finally cleaned up from that. And then I have my girlfriend's parents and brother visiting in like 3 days. So that's kind of a pain because I have to find things for us all to do together, which, I mean, it's the place where I live isn't as exciting as some people might think. So it's always a pain to try to figure out things to entertain other people. But yeah, other than that, outside, not too much, but inside the game, I've been gearing up for Phoenix. So I will get her this time around, which is super exciting. And I really want Invisible Woman, but I'm just not even close to getting her really. So she's going to have to be on the back burner a little bit, but I'm not too upset about it because out of the two, I would rather go for Phoenix anyways, if I could only have one of the two. So I'm glad I did it the way I did.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then, of course, I got AIM ready to go. I am ready for this AIM rework. I mean...
Yeah, that 7-star is going to pay off now, huh?
Yep, Scientist Supreme. The game thought they screwed me, but nope. I turned it around on them. No. There's still a chance. All of AIM gets reworked, and they're like, no. Scientist Supreme is fine as is. Yep. That's going to be... I was always thinking, like, the worst case scenario would be basically Graviton's so good, and for some reason you want to keep all the minions in either Graviton or Scientist Supreme together. But, yep. No. I'm assuming it's going to be you're going to have both of them in there, and then you're just going to leave 2 minions out. But we'll see about that. Either way, super pumped for it. And yes, by the way, for people asking in the audience, 7 red stars, and then gear level is 11 right now, but I can take her up to 12, and I'm actually have money ready to go in the bank for the level increase to bring her up if I decide to. I have lots of money in the bank, so
yeah, must be nice.
Well, I've been preparing for this, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, but this level increase that's coming, the level cap increase. I've been waiting around for this like a paranoid maniac for a while now. So, it's good to know that it's finally coming, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. Let's go ahead and move on now to the survey. So we won't have Dorian Goodness reading off the survey this time. So I'm just going to have to fill in. This is going to be a little faster than normal, but here we go. So the first one is all about the Foxnext sales. There's going to be a few questions about that. So the first question was, have you heard the news that Disney may be selling Foxnext? And obviously you did, so I don't even really have to ask you that question. So 93.5% of the population has also heard that it's being sold. What do you think about that situation?
Well, I mean, we kind of knew it was coming. Disney said, oh God, when did they turn off Infinity? When they closed down Avalanche Studios, which did their Toys to Life game, Disney Infinity, they basically said that they were never going to own their own game company ever again, that was the last of it, and all of their games would be done via licensing. So when they acquired Foxnext from the merger, the day that it happened, I remember talking to Dorian about, do you think they're going to sell it? If they are, how fast do you think they'll dump it?
Right.
And, it's just a matter of time, I think, before they finally got around to it. There's a lot going on, with a merger of that size that they're probably working through. They're also, rumor is, selling some studios off that don't fit into the Disney brand. That makes more mature and adult-oriented content. So they're selling off the sports networks and things like that they just don't care about, because they already have ESPN, so they don't really need to deal with those. So it's better for them to sell it and make some money than it is to just hold it. So I kind of saw this coming. I think, if there was a good time to sell Foxnext, is probably right now. They've got a lot of licenses, and it's actually also really good for whoever buys it, because since Disney is actually the license holder, they can kind of work out whatever terms they want with Disney for how long those licenses are going to last versus, if Foxnext was like just selling itself, and they had,
Right.
say, 3 years left on the license, then that's what those people would get. And then they would have to, go to Disney, never having spoken to them before, and deal with it. This way, since they're buying it straight from Disney, they can be like, well, we want an 8-year contract. We want a 5-year contract. We want a 10-year contract. So it puts them in a better selling position, I think.
Are you worried at all that this might be like the beginning of the end of Fox Next? Is that like rattling around in your brain at all?
Well,
or like and by extension, like this game.
So there's always the chance that if they can't find a buyer, that they just close the studio like they did with Avalanche, even though they're turning, 150, they've made 150 million was what I saw in an article somewhere. That's like chump change for Disney. Like they sneeze that out at the parks every day, probably. So, for them not wanting to be in that market space, I could see them just going, you know what, just close it down. Have a nice day. We'll deal with it later. It's just a loss for them. I think as far as a sale goes, if someone did buy it, worst case, you could see like, another big mobile company like Tencent or somebody picking it up. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Tencent made a bid on it. Mm-hmm. And then either just absorbing them into their studio or just keeping them around and letting them kind of operate autonomously. I think it'll partially be based on how the licensing contracts are written. Mm-hmm. If the contracts are in Fox Next name, they probably will have to maintain themselves as an entity to make sure that those contracts are valid.
Okay, so that makes sense. So then you won't have people at Fox Next losing their job and losing.
Well, I think
downsizing might be a situation.
Well,
regardless.
I wouldn't say downsizing necessarily, but I could see them sending in someone, a bigger, like if Tencent bought it, I could see them going, here's a new, studio lead who's going to put this in line, and they may make changes, they may make cuts, they may, change the way they're running things. Who knows? I mean, was it Marvel Contest of Champions? I think has been sold twice now. Kabam. Really?
I didn't even.
Yeah, somebody said something about that the other day in my guild chat. Was that Kabam has been? I know Kabam was sold at least once.
Okay, so that should be some level of comfort for all of us. Because I'm just thinking, like, me who I invested like not even that much money now because I stopped early on, but like for someone that has invested a lot of money in this game, I bet this scares them at least a little bit, because whenever these shakeups happen, like you're never 100% sure. Like there's always a chance that it might shut down, just as you said. But
yeah,
which is super scary, because then everything you invested is just gone, and I don't think there's any recourse for that.
No.
Yeah.
And it was Netmarble bought Kabam out in 2017. But again, just like that, the value in this company is going to be not its people, but its licenses. And they've got some good ones. I mean, they've got the MSF. It's already running. It's turning profit. They've got they've got the Avatar coming. They've got an Aliens game company coming. And I'm sure whoever buys this can get some good deals on that licensing, for how long they'll last.
Right.
So, and Marvel as a company, you've already gotten the next how many years of movies coming, right? So it's a kind of a never-ending stream of content for whoever takes this over,
Yeah, no, that's true. So I guess let's go ahead and move on to the next survey, because the next couple of questions still have a little bit to do with this. So do you think Disney would be doing the right thing by selling Fox Next? What do you think about that?
I don't think there's a right or wrong to it. I think the answer is yes, because they don't want to be in the game company, and it's better to sell it and keep the game alive and keep the people employed than to just fire them all and close it down.
Yeah, I kind of side with you on that. I mean, it's kind of like if they don't want to be a part of the gaming industry, which they've, shown, that's been shown to be the case before, then yeah, I'd rather it be sold off. That way people don't lose the money they invested. And yeah, people have less of a chance to be, fired from the developing company itself and have to rearrange their life. So I'm glad that it's moving. The statistics on this question are 45% don't care, 13% said no, they don't think they're doing the right thing, and 41% say that they do think that they're doing the right thing. So overwhelming majority is either I just don't care or yeah, they're doing the right thing. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is, do you think another company buying Fox Next would be a good or bad thing for MSF's future?
I mean, I'm indifferent. I think, it could be either way. I mean, you could have a company come in and make it even worse. I was on the cast, what was that, a couple months ago when I came back. And, like I said, I had been to a lot of different games out there. And, we get freaked out about, 40, 30 and 40 and $50 offers. And I was seeing out there like one summon, in a pull, full gotcha, completely RNG was, like $100 or a character, you know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah,
it could get worse. It can get worse. But it could also get better. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing, like you and I mean, we've been friends for a while now, and we always are looking around at new games and talking to each other about new games that we're trying out. So, I mean, we've done a lot of testing of the waters, and even from before that, I'm sure we've played a lot of mobile games and have a lot of buying experience. And I mean, it really is like that bad everywhere, pretty much. There's very rarely do you find a game that their offers are, reasonable. I think usually the best case is subscriptions everywhere, but even then that's not, usually great. So, I think that it's really, I agree with you. I don't really care because it really just depends on where it ends up. It could be worse. It could be better, but,
yeah, I mean, the only time I've ever seen like a gacha game get better was when Nintendo, called, God, I totally blanking on who makes Dragalia, and it was like, the customers are saying you're charging too much, premium currency for a pull, so I want you to go ahead and reduce that by 40%. And they said, okay, and all of a sudden,
you're right,
the pulls were less, and it gave everybody the difference in Wormite for every pull they had ever done. So it's like you logged in, and you're like, oh, cool, I can do like 9 pulls now because all of a sudden I have tons of Wormite. And then everybody got enough Wormite for one pull when they made that change. And I was like, okay, well, this is about as generous as it gets, and it's like the same thing with AFK. Like, oh, we did an update. Thanks for updating. Here's 700 currency, It's just like, so there is better things and more free stuff that can be given. So who knows?
Yeah, and just to mention something here, there's, I mean, even in AFK, because Riker in our audience, he said, I really like AFK, it seems pretty generous. They are very generous. Their offers are still terrible, minus the subscriptions. Their offers in a vacuum are still pretty bad, but they are super generous as a company with how much free currency they give out, which same thing for Dragalia. Like, those two games, I think, are probably the best that I've seen so far. Maybe Naruto Blazing as well. Those games the developers are very generous, but the offers themselves are still terrible. I mean, it's no longer the microtransactions, it's the macro transactions. So, but yeah, so I think, we have to just see where it lands. Could be worse, could be better. We'll have to see. Last question on this part, which is, if another company buys Fox Next, would you want to see them continue with MSF or have it handed over to another studio? I think we kind of already basically covered this. And 57% of the population said, let Fox Next continue. And then 26% said they've done enough, time to hand it over. And then 15% don't care. So we have that, which is, I would have said, let Fox Next continue. I have my problems with Fox Next, but as we've highlighted, it could be better, could be worse. So,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't like to see them, like, it taken away from them. For me, being someone who works in an industry where there is coding and stuff like that, like transferring a piece of software like this, especially knowing the spaghetti code problems that they already have, would be just an utter nightmare for a new company to take over. They would basically have to rewrite the whole game probably to even work on it. What would be better is if, someone came in with some better maybe program management or Q&A testing and kind of implemented new processes to help alleviate the bugs. The game runs. Are there bugs? Yes. Could they have been caught in Q&A? Probably. But again, it's also based on, manpower and schedules and things like that. So, hopefully whoever takes it over will be able to maybe help them with those types of things.
Yeah, I think I'm of the same mind. And plus, I mean, we do know that from previous interviews, both with Dorian and Casino, we've kind of found that it is true that the developers themselves of this game seem to have their heads screwed on straight with, they're aligned with us on what we want for the future of the game. It's mostly the men upstairs, the suits, that are kind of ruining the dream for us, or at least muddying the waters a bit. So seeing it moved around could mean that, yeah, this team that does love the game and wants to continue forward gets kept, but then we change around the suits that might be a little more generous. So I hope that would be the future for it. But let's go ahead and move on to the next segment, which is for Phoenix.
Here, one thing real quick.
Sure.
I will say that I have been enjoying the kind of random $2 offers that keep popping up, like this Miss Marvel that appeared today, where they give you 45 shards for $2. Like, that to me is like super reasonable every once in a while to kind of keep
I agree.
Helping us out in conjunction with some of the bigger ones, but hopefully they can kind of keep that momentum going. I think there's been 3 of them now. They're really nice.
Yeah, it was 45 shards for $2.99. You said, right?
$1.99.
Okay, 45 shards for $1.99. So yeah, I would consider that as actually a really good offer. I mean, I would buy it myself if I wasn't so stubborn. So yeah, I agree that actually is the epitome of a great offer. So I would like to see things like that continue. And maybe they're starting to be a little bit looser, considering the feedback that they've gotten. So. But let's go ahead and move on to Phoenix now. So I already know that you're not ready for the Phoenix event. I am. 67.5% of the population is also ready. 28.6% are not. And then we have a small percentage. Let me see. This is 3.9% don't care at all. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is what will you have Phoenix at the end of the event? Let's see. So we have 39% of the population said 6 stars, 35% said 7 stars, and then still 26% that says that they won't have unlocked her. For you, obviously that doesn't matter. I'm going to have her only at 6 stars. So yeah, I'm definitely not going to have her at 7 stars.
I just foolishly wasn't like there's so much going on. Like, I wasn't even, it was like, there was so many things I was working on. And then it was like, oh, hey, Phoenix is coming. I was like, oh, man, I never started farming for that event. Dang it.
So you must be really far off then, right?
No. I mean, everybody for it is 4 or 5 stars already. So it would really be about getting them from 5, like Nobu's 5-star, I think a bunch of them are 5-star. The one that's killing me is Loki and Assassin. My Loki was really bad, but I actually in the last Mega Orb I got a 50 hit of him, so that put him right at 4-star. So he would need to go up from 4 to 6, and that's just not going to happen. So
yeah, but I mean, so you're doing better than I thought you were at least. How do you feel about because I never got to hear from you during this part, but. I never asked you the question, at least. How do you feel about the 6-star instead of the 5-star?
Oh, honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, so I play Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, and I can tell you there are far crazier ways to have to unlock characters. Like, imagine if you needed 10 7-star Gear 12 and 13 characters to get one character, because you have to deal with that over there. And on top of that, it's like might as well be a giant raid encounter, 15-minute fight that you have to do 4 or 5 times, even if you're in real good shape, Mm-hmm. So for me, I think it's fine as long as we know that that they're coming. Like, if we understand what the requirement is ahead of time, I don't think it matters. I mean, they could go, it's a 7-star unlocked, as long as they tell you. And the idea behind a lot of that is that the whales and the payers get it the first time. a couple of free-to-players that maybe have spread rosters or something will get it the first time, and everyone else gets it the second time around because they don't want to miss it again. And that's, kind of how it went for me with, Darth Revan and Malik and everybody that were in that kind of crazy realm in Star Wars. And it'll be this time I'll get, I'm going to get her on the third try, so whatever.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, it is a little different because she's just such a dominant force. But yeah, I think I don't remember my original position on this because I might have instinctively been against it. But regardless, now that it's kind of like hindsight, I don't know. I don't mind it too much. I just want to know. Oh yeah, that's right. The big problem was that it showed her at 5 stars originally, so everyone thought that she was going to be 5 stars, and then fairly close to her event, or I think like maybe a month out.
Yeah, they made the announcement.
That that was the controversy behind it. So I think going forward, hopefully, if they do that again, if they just originally tell us like 6 stars for this one, I don't think it'll be too much of an issue.
Yeah, I really think that the whole 6-star Phoenix thing was 100% just bad communication. If they had just communicated, everyone would have been like, okay, I guess that's just a possibility, Right.
I agree. All right, so let's go ahead and let me rattle off a few of the next ones. We have Phoenix after... Oh, wait, no, I already did that one. Have you been saving gear for Phoenix? So 59% said no. 37% said yes. I'm assuming you don't. You're certainly not, since you're not getting her this time around.
No, and I've actually been gearing up a lot of teams to try and better my blitzing because I need more teams that can fight at 8.3 and generate, over 50,000 points. And I don't have them right now. I've only got like 2 to 3. So it's really been hampering my ability to get anywhere in that mode. And I want to try again, or at least make it a little bit easier to get my milestones cleared,
Right. That makes sense.
So I got Magneto unlocked his last round. So I've been working on my Brotherhood team. I've been working on gearing up, just some other ones, just to try and create a couple of extra teams.
Right. I think my mic or your mic cut out or something.
Yeah, it's probably me.
Okay. All right. I just wouldn't want to overlap you if you were talking at the same time. But yeah. All right. So I agree. I mean, it is tough, especially right now with so many teams coming out at once. I mean, I think they just said actually that after Phoenix, we have Invisible Woman coming out. So if you were planning on doing both, gosh, so much farming that you have. Because not only do you have to farm for the characters to get them, then you have the characters themselves. Oof, such a pain. So I myself, I have gear waiting, but it's not T13. So she's going to probably be bumped up to like T10, T11 immediately. But after that, yeah, I'm kind of just going to have to slowly move her up the ladder. Next question is, do you have your other X-Men ready to use with her? I'm assuming your X-Men are decent.
Yeah, I mean, they're not terrible, but they're not, they're not geared 12 and 13. But, I mean, I don't know. They're not really, I mean, they're probably like 10 and 11.
What's your, just out of pure curiosity, what's your Wolverine at? Just because, you've been playing forever. He's been the character du jour forever. So.
Hold on, let me look.
Yeah.
I'm checking here. My Sabretooth is higher. He is tier 9. I haven't even level 6 his abilities. He's only level 55. I just never put any... I mean, I never found him to be like a great character. He was never this guy where you were like, oh my god, I have to have my Wolverine jacked up. I run into like 5 and 6 Red Star Wolverines in like Blitz and Arena, and I'm just like, whatever. He doesn't do enough, I think. But he's I would consider him to be what I would define as like an average character in a game like this. He's not great. He's not terrible. He's just meh. He's just borderline average.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, there's been so much talk about like ideas to revamp him now that we think that he might be getting a rework soon. We're not sure what type, but is there anything like just off the top of your head that you think would be a good mechanic for him to have if you had the ability to rework him?
I mean, I'd like him to be more resilient, like maybe he can't be bled or something crazy like that. You know, the whole thing about him is like, you know, he gets cut and he heals. So like, to me, I think it would be cool if they gave him some kind of interesting passive that made him like immune to bleeding or something like that. Or he gets a huge heal at the beginning of every turn. Just something to really play off of his like superhuman healing and his resilience. And maybe he even has like a damage reduction because of that. Just make him a little beefier of a brawler that hits in the middle range. But if he hits in the middle range but he never dies, then over time he could out damage a higher damage character because they get blasted down, and people are like, well, why would I focus on Wolverine? Because that gives, you know, this character that hits harder 2 turns to beat on me while I'm trying to deal with this meat shield, you know?
Right. I agree. I think, you know, for the same reasons that you said he should be beefier, there's been a lot of talk of like a rage mechanic being built into him, which I think would be really cool too.
That would be cool. Like the longer he's alive, the more damage he deals, but also, you know, because he's harder to kill, it forces you to kind of focus him or CC him, like control him in some way with stuns or slows. That'd be cool.
Exactly. And I think another one that they've been talking about is just like a res mechanic, like a pretty much like a guaranteed res. I've seen that as just like a flat guaranteed res, and then as like the turns continue with him being dead, he has a higher and higher chance every turn to be revived, and that's for, you know, every death that he has. I think that'd also be pretty cool too, especially for big sustained fights. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great for like raid and stuff. I know that, you know, I mean, I know people get pissed when we bring this up all the time, but, you know, in Star Wars, the Boba and Jango Fett have that exact ability where they basically, if they die, they basically come back at full health, but with no shield or protection in that game. And it's not terrible, because if you've got damage, you could just kill them again, but it does force you to kill them twice. And if they can get a turn off between the time you kill them the first time and the time they die the second time, you know, one of them has an AoE ability block and things like that. So it can be problematic. And they even have like their Zeta on one of them is if they kill someone and they don't have the buff that makes them revive, they gain it back. So if they get rezzed after dying and then they kill somebody, then they will res again. So it's kind of an interesting mechanic for them, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. So I think something like that, I mean, because, you know, I played Swugga for like a bit, so I don't even remember that. But knowing that it's already involved in another game where it'd be an easy translation to bring a mechanic like that over, I think that would be pretty cool. So I think, yeah, just, you know, hitting on those things that make Wolverine, concerning he's so iconic, would be important. So, but let's go ahead and keep moving on. Just going to run through these next two. Will you be using her in a hybrid team? Phoenix, that is. 67% of the people said yes. 27% said no. And then a little bit of the percentage said they don't care. I personally will be using her in a hybrid team. With Ultron probably, and then fill in the blank for the rest. I'll figure that out whenever I get there. But considering the people I'm going up against in the arena, yeah, I'm just going to copy them. Next, do you think we're going to get more X-Men in the future? 98.7% of the population said yes. I'm assuming you agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cheating because we know already that Cyclops is coming, so, I mean, we know we're getting more. I would love to see a particular card-throwing badass in there,
yes.
As well as a bamfing demon-tailed blue man. Gambit and Nightcrawler are two of my favorite X-Men, so I'd love to see them get some love.
Yeah, finally another Gambit fan, first of all. But Nightcrawler would definitely be my second pick as well. Nightcrawler is so cool. So I think the two of them after Cyclops would be perfect. But if I remember correctly, and I don't know, this might be an inside source, it might not at this point. I can't recall, but it's going to be, they had plans for Gambit, but he's not coming for a long time, was what they said. But yeah, so far we do know that Cyclops and Iceman are coming. And did you say Angel's coming
Iceman?
too? Yeah, Iceman is supposed to be coming too.
I just was saying Archangel would be cool in chat, as well. I mean, your original X-Men team was Angel, Cyclops, Beast, and was it Jean Grey and
don't forget Jubilee. Don't forget the Jubilee.
But she wasn't part of the very first X-Men team.
Oh, okay. I'm just thinking of the. I'm thinking of that X-Men.
The cartoon, yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about the original X-Men before Beast was even blue, when he was still just a normal human, And Archangel was just Angel, and he had real angel wings instead of the metal ones when Apocalypse took him over. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of room. Like Rogue isn't in. There's all kinds of great X-Men.
Yeah, we were talking about Rogue just the other day. Rogue would be a really cool addition to the game for her mechanic. I think that'd be really sick to have. But yeah, your version of the X-Men is so different. Like, I didn't even know that parts of what you just said existed. This is such an age gap of X-Men knowledge there. All right, well, let's go ahead, and that's done for the Phoenix segment. Okay, we still have another segment, so this is, and he packed a lot in for this one. All right, so this is going to be focused around the upcoming update. So are you looking forward to the new update? What do you think?
Sure.
Yep, mine is as simple as that. So 48% of the people said yes, and then 50% of the people said bring on the compensation. I love that such a large amount of the population that said that, and I can agree with that. All right, so next we have the update announced 3 new playable characters. We know that we're getting Invisible Woman and Graviton. Gravitron? Is it Gravitron or Graviton? I'm gonna have to look back.
Hold on, let me look.
I'm not sure if he... Yeah, Graviton. Okay, he had a spelling mistake here. I thought it was Graviton. So who do you think the third character will be? The options right here are Cyclops, Coulson, someone else entirely, or I don't care. If there's another person you think it is, feel free to fill in the blank.
I think it's cool. I think it's going to be... I think you're going to see Coulson before you see Cyclops. I think Cyclops is for some reason going to be held on to for quite a while. I don't know why they're going to do that, but they're going to do it.
Yeah, I think given the stats that we've seen on Cyclops, I think that is he's not going to be anything close to that. So considering the stats are still sitting there where they are, I don't think it's going to be Cyclops. I think it's going to be Coulson or someone else entirely. But I'm not sure where I land on that one. So let's go ahead and... Oh, yeah. One thing I was going to ask, for the next update, Raina, do you think that there will be a bug of some kind, or do you think it'll be free and clear?
No, there's definitely going to be something wrong. I mean, they've got a lot of stuff in there.
This is a big one, too. So, yeah, I imagine you're right.
They've got a lot of matchmaking stuff for Blitz in there. So, I mean, I could definitely see that one going pretty sideways.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so what do you think the war update will include? The options are more boosts, less time consuming, ability to move teams in rooms, more stats, better rewards, or I don't care.
I don't know. I don't even remember what I answered, but I really want them to fix some of this like guild hopping bull crap that's going on. For the dropping to the lower Stark tech with your high team. I mean, they need to really reevaluate how matchmaking is done.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they are changing around how matchmaking is done a little bit as far as the stats. I don't remember where I heard it, but I heard that... Oh, never mind. Actually, never mind. Yeah, I don't think I'm allowed to say what I was going to say. Anyway, so let me Go on to the next part. So real quick, 13% said, 16% said more boosts, 11% said less time consuming, 10% said ability to move teams in rooms, 20% said more stats, 61% said better rewards, and then 20% said they don't care. I really hope that it has to do with boosts. I just want them to eliminate boosts, but I know that that won't be the case because that's such a moneymaker for them. That's my big thing. All right, so next we have, what do you think improved Blitz, quote unquote, will include? What do you want them to change?
Yeah, I mean, I can just tell you what the first change is.
Yeah, we already know
blog post. I mean, it's kind of cheating, but yeah, I mean,
let's go ahead and do it.
You know, they're going to change it so you don't like end up with 3 copies of the same team, which is like, to me, is kind of like whatever. You know, for me, I'd like to see them. I mean, if I got my way, they would go back to 6-hour timers for the free energy. Even if they went to 4 hours, I think it would be huge. They need to reduce the amount of time it takes to blitz. I also think that they need to break the blitz tiers up a little bit. You know, I don't know how, but they need to make it into leagues of some sort that like kind of break up the population, because right now, you know, the 1,500 whopping people getting, you know, good rewards is kind of really brutal. I mean, I think from what I can see, they're trying to combat that a little bit by basically making, you know, 2 blitzes, and then basically the milestones seem to be enough to pretty much unlock all the characters lately, as opposed to having like 100 shard unlock characters in there. They're all like 45. So I think that's a step in the right direction, so we all at least have the team. But, I mean, there's still a big difference between a 2-star and a 6-star, especially if, like I did with Shocker. I've pulled my first 6 red star ever, and it's on a 2-star Shocker. You know, it's like having a 6-star that Shocker that's 6 red star is a big difference than a 2-star Shocker that's 6 red stars. So.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, literally everything that you said is the exact thing that I have preached for a long time with Blitz that they need to change. It's, I always come back to the fact that, I mean, of course, you know, blanket statement, it's way too time intensive for blitzing right now. It's crazy, and the tiers do need to be broken up. But I just can't get over the fact that between the top 10% and then 1,500, you're talking about like not sleeping, blitzing constantly. Could you imagine going for that and not making it? Like, that is such a drastic time difference.
Oh, yeah. There was a guy in my alliance that got 1501 on the last blitz for rescue. And I was just like, oh, man, that sucks.
Exactly. And there's always like a 1501. And so, like, that's why I like started off with this blitz that we're in right now. Like, I started off thinking, I was like, all right, I'm going to try for the top 1,500. And then, like, 10 hours in, I was like, never mind. I'm not going to be able to make it. And I bailed on doing it because, yeah, it's such a big time difference. And I don't want to be that 1501. Like, I can't, I would, with the time difference that it is right now, I would be so upset I don't even know what I'd do. I'd probably throw my phone against the wall. And knowing my luck, I'd probably would be 1501. So, let's go ahead and I'm just going to read off the numbers real quick. 1 hour blitzing was what 20% of the people said. Better rewards is what 54% of the people said. Better matchmaking is what 42% of the people said. And then other was what 28% of the people said. Don't care is what 7.8% of the people said. And I promise you guys we have one more question and then we are done with the survey, so don't worry. So the last thing is they announced a Wolverine update. What do you think this will include? We already kind of talked about this, so I'm just going to go ahead and give the stats unless you want to say something else.
Nope.
Sorry, I thought you were about to say something. No?
I said nope.
All right, good. So kit rework was what 76% of the population said, and then removing him from daily login was what 51% of the people said. So think it's probably going to be a kit rework, just because, like, rework to me or update to me says something more than just removing him from the daily login. But, we'll see. So, next stuff we don't have to worry about. Let's go ahead and move on to the fun stuff, which is the news. And we're going to hop right to... Yeah, we've already talked about pretty much everything, so we're going to go right to the dev blog, actually. So, first of all, how exciting is a dev blog that actually has good stuff in it?
It's nice to have a dev blog that has actual content, so that's a bonus.
What's your feeling on that? Because I've had, I don't blame them for giving us kind of like crappy week-to-week updates, because I think they kind of put themselves into a corner with that whenever they said we're going to do weekly updates, and you just aren't going to have new stuff every week to tell people. Do you think that, but everyone always gets very upset that it's, very, bland updates. Are you one of those people that just thinks that it should be like every month or so? That's what I kind of fall into. I'd rather they just do it like once a month.
I mean, yeah, it'd be great if they came out with like a blog post at the beginning or the end of the month that outlined the coming month, with a calendar of events for the whole month, like all the blitzes, all the, legendary events that are coming, for the month would be great. Just so we have an understanding of kind of where things fall. We would get more blogs like this one if it was less frequent. With the frequency that it is, I mean, the best they can say is, hey, we're going to have this blitz this week. Good luck, guys,
Yeah, exactly. I think that just doing it once a month and giving us a calendar, I think overall, a calendar for long term for us to plan on for a full month, I think would be beneficial to all of us anyways. So I would agree to just do that. We'll see if they ever change it, because I know that there's a lot of controversy surrounding these, or at least a lot of irritation. But let's go ahead and hop right in. So I'm not going to read it word for word, but first of all, this is like the big news, which is we have Graviton and AIM. We have the AIM rework, and we have Graviton coming to the game. So
this is the big news for you?
This is the big news for me, because I have skin in this game. I have my Scientist Supreme waiting. So, for this, we have Graviton coming, and he's going to be a controller, and it looks like he is going to be, it says he will weigh down enemies with stun and stacks of slow, and then he hits them with heavy attacks that increase in damage for every negative effect on the enemy. So right there, I think that tells us, first of all, AIM's still going to be built around giving people debuffs and then probably flipping. And then this guy's probably, pretty much just going to go right off of that and then screw everyone that they give the negative debuffs to. I think that this is going to be huge, because right now we're in a meta that revolves very much around debuffing and buffing. I think that AIM actually could be a little bit better than I originally thought with their rework. What do you think?
I think it's going to depend on how they stack up. I was thinking about this earlier to Brotherhood, because if you think about Sabretooth, Magneto, Juggernaut, Pyro, and then putting Graviton in, you got a bunch of debuffs on the enemy from all those bleeds. He could be a nice finisher there, as opposed to having, Mystique in there, kind of thing for a Brotherhood team. So I could see him slotting into other teams. I think it's all going to be based on, whether his damage is single target or AoE, and how he stacks with the rest of the AIM. If he's, a character that grants synergy to other AIM members based on his presence, like Magneto does, versus just working with the fact that they do a ton of debuffs, kind of thing. And then also how strong each of those AIM members are.
Yeah, I actually totally agree with you. It will depend on, how much AIM specific stuff they throw into the kit, as far as literally only AIM minions or AIM related people get this applied to them or something like that, if that's a lot built into his kit. But if it's just based on a general, he amplifies or, get some kind of advantage on enemies being debuffed, he is going to be so plug and play, it's not even going to be funny. So I'm really looking forward to that. And the fact that they say in the update that this team in general, AIM, the new AIM, they're going to be a high skill team and lend themselves to theory crafting means just that. I think that it's going to be involved with a lot of put this man in this comp or whatever, move this guy around to this comp. I think that you're right. I think we're going to be looking at a lot of taking, characters and moving them around and creating new metas.
Yeah, but the one thing I am a little worried about is if you read the exact text, it says Graviton transforms them, being AIM, into a nightmare for negative effects centric teams like the Brotherhood of Mutants. I don't know if that's a way of them saying it makes the Brotherhood of Mutants a nightmare, or that he transforms AIM like Magneto transforms the Brotherhood of Mutants, where it's his presence buffs them, so he doesn't plug and play as well as he could if he was just really strong with their kits.
Yeah, I mean, how I read that personally is that he transforms a team that is heavy debuff based, like AIM, into a team like Brotherhood. That's how I would read that, which would still mean that he would be able to apply those same benefits to a team like, Brotherhood, which is what they mentioned.
Yeah, and the other way to read it is like Evan is saying, where he's going to make AIM a nightmare against Brotherhood of Mutants. So since Brotherhood of Mutants generates debuffs,
right,
he will make a problem for them, which we'll have to see kind of how all that stuff plans out. How do you feel about the hero controllers being the unlock for the campaign?
I don't mind it. I'm going to have to pull up the list on hero controllers real quick.
It's pretty good. Star-Lord's on there, Hawkeye, I was just reading it off, Quake, Black Widow. I mean, it's a pretty good list. I've got tons of 6 stars. Phoenix is on there. Here it is. Jessica Jones, Star-Lord, Phoenix, Storm, Black Widow, Vision. Vision's on there. Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, Quake, Okiai, Mr. Fantastic, Ant-Man, and Mantis. So, I mean, it's a pretty solid list that a lot of people are going to have the characters necessary, I think, to clear this campaign.
Yeah, I think that's a slam dunk. I haven't seen a setup more suited towards everyone in such a long time, because there's so many heavy hitters on there, and it's such a wide range of characters, and so many of them have been around for such a long time. So I think that's great. But I also kind of expected that with AIM being, a very veteran team, them being around for so long. It doesn't surprise me that they're kind of going that route, that this is just going to be which is the one thing that makes me think that AIM won't be as good as how I hope that they'll be, because it's just everyone's going to have this.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, my expectation is rework level. I'm not expecting them to be much more than that, personally.
Yeah, I'm hoping for Defenders level. I'm really hoping for Nick Fury level, but we'll see. I
think the highest you go is Defenders level, personally. I don't think they're going to unleash that much top tier energy into the game that easily, because, I mean, everybody's been posting, hey, look at my full 5-star AIM team with all these red stars all over it. I mean, half of my AIM team is 4 and 5 red stars. So it's if you gave me a character that made them Nick Fury tier, that'd be pretty huge for me,
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree. I don't think it's going to be like that at all. That's just my dream, considering my situation.
But I'd be stoked with them being defender good.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that they will be Kree as well. I hope that they're going to be, Defender, and I think that is a fairly realistic hope. But yeah, dream level is Nick Fury and Shield, but I'm sure that won't happen as well.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and move on. So we have the Blitz. So we already kind of mentioned what's happening with Blitz. One thing that I don't think we mentioned earlier was that the point multiplier will start at 2 times instead of 1 times. So that's nice. It will save you some time. in the early grind?
Yes. I don't. That's the one I don't understand. Like, like you're all you're doing there is just inflating the numbers, right? You're just generating bigger scores in the long run. You're not actually making it easier for anybody. So,
yeah, I think you're right. I think that that's going to change very little. As Evan pointed out, it makes milestones easier. I mean, that's true because it's just a slightly less grind at the beginning, I think, and that's about it. I mean, I don't think it's going to be changing anything too drastically.
yeah.
But all right, so let's move on to the next thing, which is maybe the biggest to some people, but this is big news, which is Commander level 75 and Gear Tier 14. They are coming in the new version. And how does that make you feel?
Oh, I'm screwed.
You're screwed?
Oh, yeah.
I am actually kind of excited about this because, as I mentioned earlier, all of my waiting and saving is finally paying off. I've been a true Jew, and I've been putting away stuff in the bank, and I've just been saving it up, and now I finally get to reap the rewards. You should know better. You're just like me. But I am, regardless, Gear Tier 14 scares me a little bit, but level 75, I'm glad that level's finally coming because a level increase means that, things are just going to be easier. Things that we see now are just going to be easier. It is going to be more competition in Arena, but, such is life. And that just kind of means to me that, with this increase, we're just taking another, it just means that we're just taking another step closer to finally getting into some new content, to getting into Ult 7. So that's something that I am very excited about.
No, yeah, definitely. I'm more worried about the Gear Tier 14 since I've only got 3, Gear Tier 13s. It's just going to put me farther behind the curve there. But the level, I don't even have that many level 70s really. I've only got like maybe 15 total. So I definitely am not looking forward to, dealing with bumping my top tier teams up to 75 and things like that when I was just starting to work on getting some secondary teams to 70. But, we'll see. I'm more interested in understanding if they're going to add a new ability tier to anybody.
So actually, I have the answer to that. So they are not adding ability tiers with this. That comes from Dorian, who, that was kind of envoy information, but he told me to go ahead and pass that around today. We're not going to see ability increases with this. So it's just going to be the commander level to 75 and then the gear tier to 14. Are you happy about that or no?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. It's just one less thing for me to worry about.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that, no matter what, although like I've been saving, I know that that's not everyone's situation, not even close to everyone's situation. And realistically, this is something that was inevitable. Like there's never going to be a great time to drop 75 and Gear Tier 14 on us. We're always going to be stretched thin. We see the cadence of release with this game, and it's like a constant go of farming and, leveling up the newest team. So I think it's just good to pull the trigger, finally get this thing done, and just start working towards all the new stuff. The Tier 14, we have so many problems with the orange gear the way it is, especially the uniques. This worries me considering how much I'm going to have now to get people up to Gear Tier 14, but like I said, it's an inevitability. I hope that this also means that they're going to make that stuff a little bit more farmable in some ways. But
yeah, they're gonna. They're gonna have to make Tier 13 farmable, and that may be why they're pushing out Gear Tier 14 because of the fact that they're gonna make 13 farmable. They need to move the goalpost out to get you to spend. And timing wise, we've been 70 max for a while. Gear Tier 13's been out for a while. I don't think it's too early or anything like that. It just, like you said, it just, timing is everything. And, for me personally, it sucks. But for people like Evan, who I know I'm like watching every day, put more tier 13s out,
Right.
It'd be good for those types of players to have something that they could focus on and go, look, I'm going to take my top team, my arena team, to tier 14, as opposed to promoting my fifth, third string quarterback character to gear 13,
Right. Yeah, I completely agree. And, but yeah, so, that's coming. I think that's good. We'll probably check on that with everyone on next week's survey. And just a few little tiny things would be that we're getting the 5 more save squad slots, at level 71. So that's nice. I still have my problems with, why don't they have unlimited like they do in Swugga, but, whatever, more is more. So at least we're getting something to alleviate that issue.
Yeah.
So next we're going into the Blitz stuff. Basically, Okoye is coming. And then we have the legendary event for Invisible Woman. Apparently there's not going to be a breather in between Invisible Woman and Phoenix. We don't know how close it's going to be, to my understanding, but it looks like from what they say, there's no time to rest after battling for Phoenix because Invisible Woman's legendary event is right around the corner. That's their wording right there. So I thought that we were going to get a little bit of a break.
No, I think it's going to be the last week of September. I think maybe you got a week.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's how I plan it out based on what
I
they said.
I don't think they'll put them back to back, but I think between them they'll have the Okoye Blitz, and then they'll have Invisible Woman. So I think it'll go Phoenix, Okoye, Invisible Woman, end of the month.
Yeah, exactly. So then last little thing to touch on in this devlog, and that'll wrap up the devlog part, which is the Sinister 6 bonus event, the Double Trouble. That is going to be coming at some point. It's going to be 24 hours, times 2 for Sinister 6 flash event. That'll be good to have. But, that's good news for anyone that is farming them. So I'm glad that's happening. It's just a little bit of a benefit. That pretty much does it for everything news related. So now we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to do a couple of questions from the write-ins from the survey, and then we'll hit on a lot more whenever we whenever we do our next week, whenever Dorian's back. So let's see. Oh, heard the third tune.
There was, just so you know, there was some, Evan just brought it up. They did say other benefits arriving with the level cap increase are earning more gold per level up at 71 and beyond. So hopefully they're going to give us they're going to give us a chunk of gold for every level that we go up in our commander level. So depending on what that is, it could maybe help alleviate that initial push of like, oh, I gotta move, because like when you're leveling, you normally pick one team and you're gonna, your arena team, and you're gonna bump them up that level every time you level to kind of make sure that they're as strong as they can be. So hopefully that gold will help us do that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I actually just didn't even, maybe people are reading into that a lot, and maybe it's worth reading into. For me, I blew past that part because I'm thinking that that's going to be like nothing. In my mind, that's going to be like 100K, if that, and that's about it. Like I don't think it's going to be anything substantial.
I feel like if it was 100K, they wouldn't bother. I mean, they could be really weird about it and just give you basically a gold orb, per level up. Or
I would take
2
a
gold
orb.
orbs. So at least that way you have a chance at hitting 1 million.
Yeah, I think that they're actually just going to give a flat amount of gold, but I would definitely take a gold orb. I would take that over just a flat amount that I assume is probably going to be nothing. But
yeah.
Either way, it's a little bit more gold. You're right, so that is something. But let's go ahead and go on to the questions now. So the first one is, heard the third tune for the month might be Ghost Rider. Thoughts?
No way.
You don't think it's going to be?
No, I think they would tie into a movie that's coming You know, you got Blade on the way. Please, God, give us Blade. You know, you've got the Moon Knight show is coming. You know, there's a lot of characters are floating around in the MCU right now that people can get hyped on. But yeah, I mean, someone said, October Ghost is, you know, Halloween, so Ghost Rider. I mean, maybe, but he's so, I don't know, he's so kind of, I mean, everybody knows who he is, but nobody knows who he is kind of thing. Like, nobody reads that, you know, so I don't know if, if he's got the juice to really generate any income for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that because of that reason, I think that like Halloween Ghost Rider event might actually be the thing for that. So we'll have to see how that pans out. I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to be Ghost Rider, but I am down for being pleasantly surprised. I would be incredibly excited if they decided to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we have Coulson on the picture. We know Cyclops is coming. I would be. It's going to be probably some like weird secondary character. We're not thinking about somebody. I mean, maybe Ghost Rider is the answer because it would be some like lower tier guy, but who knows?
Right. That makes sense.
I mean, I would almost guarantee it's going to be a Blitz. It's going to definitely be a Blitz character, though.
Yeah, considering who he's coming with, I think you're probably right.
Yeah, because we've got Iron Invisible Woman is going to be legendary, and then we've got Graviton through a campaign. I mean, that only leaves needing a Blitz character for the month.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, I think you're right. So next question, power armor or Wakanda? Which should you level first? What do you think?
Power armor, probably.
Why is that?
War, I guess.
Yeah, I would. My thought is power armor because you can do a lot with power armor except for raids though. So if you don't have a good raid team already, then maybe Wakanda. It's just to make them really good. Like you do have to put so much into them with the ability mats. So I don't think I would do that. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it really just depends on who you have so far. If you already have a raid team, I would go power armor for sure because power armor is so good in war and they're a really good blitz team and even an arena team. So yeah, I would fall there. Next thing is not really a question; it's more of a statement. But Pellegrino Blood Orange, and he said, "Amazing. All others trash." I have never tried it. Given that, I am going to give it a shot just for you. So I will return with my thoughts on that next week, I think. Let's go into the next one. Real life guilty or embarrassing pleasure. What's it for you?
I don't even know. I don't. I'm a dad of 2 kids now, so I don't have much time to do much. I've started playing WoW Classic. That's like my hidden
That's
shame.
a guilty pleasure. For sure. Guilty pleasure for me. Probably. You know what? This is a guilty pleasure for sure. This is more of like probably a weird guilty pleasure, but I still love SpongeBob to this day. So if I ever just need like a pickup, I will totally watch SpongeBob on Amazon Prime just to get me in a better mood. SpongeBob's awesome, and I will never stop admitting that till the day I die. So that's probably a weird guilty pleasure right there.
Nice.
I'm sure you've never even watched SpongeBob.
No, I've seen some.
Okay. I mean, it is like the best children's show ever. Plus, there's the fun song. There's so much there. It's just great. It's just great. All right, let me see this one. Hebrew, if you had to choose between using vision in all of your teams or being kicked in the balls with a steel toe boot, which would you choose? I would easily choose being kicked in the balls with a steel toe boot. Well, hold on. All right, wait. Scratch that. I'm dealing with real life circumstances at that point. I guess I would probably use vision in all my teams, but I would laugh at my teams because vision's, he's like nothing. He's not leveled up at all for me. So I just watch my teams lose because of him, and I can just blame everything on him even more. So yeah. not reading the next one. And I'll save that one for Dorian too. You know what? I think I'll go ahead and wait. Let's see this last one. Okay. Do you think EA/Activision would run the game better than Fox Next?
No.
No, you don't? You think it'd be like even more money hungry?
Yes.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that one too. That's sorry, Trust. I'm not going to read off some of the other ones. We'll talk with Dorian, and maybe if he agrees to, then fine. I just don't want to piss him off whenever he comes back. So, all right. That's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this week, guys. This was a big week for news, so I'm glad that we finally got this stuff in, and I'm excited to see what's to come. Is there anything else that you want to say, Muggin, before we go?
I don't know. Do you want to do one or two of these grab bag questions? Because they're pretty quick and easy.
Can you see the grab bag questions?
I can see the ones like on the server, like the patron grab bag.
Oh, let me go ahead and... Oh, you know what? I didn't even look to see those ones. Hold on a second.
Yeah, there's just like 2 in the patron and a couple in the regular grab bag. I thought we'd knock them out. The ones that aren't Dorian specific.
All right, let's see.
So,
that
NDS
you can go ahead and read them off since you're there.
NDS asks, what genres of music do you guys listen to, and who are your favorite bands or singers?
For me, I guess the best way to describe this, I like singers who can really sing without like anything added to it. So I like people like Adele, for instance. I love Adele. I'll jam out to Adele all day long. So Adele, Jason Mraz, I listen to a lot. How am I blanking on this name? One that died, her name is Amy Winehouse. Jeez, I don't know how I forgot that. I literally listen to her all the time. Amy Winehouse is another one. She's very jazzy. Sam Smith, that kind of thing. I do that kind of music. I also listen to, don't get me wrong, I listen to like some System of a Down and Maroon 5. I'm super eclectic with my music for the most part. What about you?
Metal.
You are like the exact opposite of me. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, oh wait, I'm seeing this right now for your playlists. Okay, Tenacious D. First of all, I live and breathe Tenacious D, so yeah, I'm with you on that one. Metal. There's so much of this that I've never even heard of before. I'm actually probably gonna have to just like go through this playlist a little bit. I've never even heard of like all of these bands. That's crazy. I don't know if you have obscure choices or I have like 2 pop mainstream choices. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, regardless, that's it for that one. What is the next one? Hold on a second. I think we might have lost him. Oh, he's checking on the kids. So we have just a second. Let me go read the chat real quick. Ed Sheeran. Oh yeah, Ed Sheeran. I totally get down with Ed Sheeran. There's so many that I forgot. So metal he disconnected. That's right. I actually don't like Justin Timberlake at all. Ariana Grande. I don't like. She is a very good singer, but I don't like her songs. Like some of the lyrics in the song, I'm just like, she's too much for me sometimes. Kind of meh on her. Are you back?
Yep, back. Sorry.
All right, no, you're all good. One more second. Yes, you're right. She does sing amazingly. She has an incredibly good voice, and she's one of those people that I mentioned that just can sound good whenever all of the studio's off, basically, and there's nothing helping her out. She is definitely one of those people. All right, what was the second question that you had?
What's your favorite Marvel movie?
Favorite Marvel, easy, Thor Ragnarok. That is, everything was so perfect in that movie for me. It was so funny, and it had no vision, and it was just so, it was super metal. It was just everything about it, and it was like really retro funky too. I thought everything about it was just super badass. That's pretty much it. What about you?
Yeah, no, that one's definitely towards the top of the list for sure, I think. I also like the old school Blades with Wesley Snipes.
I've never even seen it.
Snipes will always be my Blade, okay?
What's the other Blade? I thought he was the only Blade.
No, there's a new Blade. I forget who is playing him now.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I didn't even know that Blade was part of the Marvel Universe until like probably a couple months ago, whenever Dorian mentioned something about it. But I've never even seen the Blades. So
just watch the first one. That's all you need. It's
only
awesome.
watch the first one.
Yeah, well, 2 is okay. 3 is, oh man, 3 is rough.
Doesn't that one have Ryan Reynolds in it?
It does. Yeah, the new Blade is Mahershala Ali.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'll probably have to look at that and see. But I'm definitely going to see it in theaters whenever it comes out. So, that's good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I just have to read. Mine is Ben Affleck's Daredevil because I love Colin Farris's. Is it Colin Farris or Colin Farrell? I think it's Colin Farrell, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember. But yeah, his Bullseye. You're right. His Bullseye was super cool, but all of the rest of it was just bleh. So yeah. But I think you're like the only person in the world that could say that their favorite is Ben Affleck's Daredevil. So congratulations on that. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, he was Cottonmouth in Luke Cage. Oh yeah, okay. I know him then. He's very good. He's very good in everything he plays. I actually really like him.
I also highly enjoyed the original Deadpool 1. So
Deadpool 1 certainly up there for me, for sure.
It's technically a Marvel movie.
Yeah. But all right, well, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap everything up for this week. So, oh wait, Dorian's going to accost me unless I ask you this question. Who are you farming now?
I'm farming Gear 13, and I'm farming Groot, Storm, Mystique, what's his nuts? Shocker.
Are you only farming Shocker
guy.
because you had the 6 stars?
No, because I also want to eventually be ready for Invisible Woman, and I'm farming, basically farming the Sinister Six.
That's so much farming. Your energy is spread thin, I imagine.
I can, with my refreshes in the morning, I can get all of those shard nodes farmed.
Okay, that's not so bad.
Yeah, and then I just kind of farm gear for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of gear for me to farm right now because there's so much of it is gold that I don't know. It's so spread thin right now. Like, there's so much stuff to work on. It's very daunting.
Yeah, it really is. And I look back to any time before now when I'm thinking, like, it's always been easier. Like, it's of course been progressively getting harder and harder and spreading more and more thin. But so I think now is like the time for anything. That's why I said with the level increase and the gear increase, I'm like, I think if we look back and we did this 6 months later, it would be even worse. So it's just better to pull the trigger on it now. So I just always feel like I'm being spread more and more thin as this game goes on. Catherine Murdoch, that question did not get asked. I promise we'll go ahead and ask that on the next one. I think Dorian's going to want to be around for that one. So, but all right, I think, for me, what I'm farming is pretty much, now I'm going to be putting all my money into the meta characters that I need for 75, and I'm going to be farming gear for AIM and finishing up with all of them because I want my AIM team to be the premier team in my roster. I can't wait for that. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. So you're good, Muggin? Am I good to go for the outro?
Yep, I'm good.
All right. So thank you guys for listening and tuning in. We really appreciate it. For all of you guys that want to find out more about the show and especially go to our Patreon and potentially donate to us, we really, really, really appreciate that. You can go to patreon.com/Ravager Report. And yeah, and make sure to join the Discord at discord.me/Ravager Report. And we have tons and tons and tons of channels going through every single mode in this game. So, and you can always tag me whenever you get a million drop. That's what everyone else does. So be sure to do that. And yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. So we will see you next week, guys. And bye.
See ya.